Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. That's Dave. This way. and, and here we are for our review today, wrapping up H.P Lovecraft series with Bride of the Reanimator. But before we get into that movie, what you been reading or watching? Anything good?
Yeah, I've been watching a couple of shows, but the thing that I'm reading now is a book written by a guy named Steve Perry, and it's called Shadows of the Empire.
Wow, he had quite a career after Journey, didn't he?
Yeah, right? Don't stop believing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, Sherry.
uh, it's the book that takes place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
I've read the book before, and what Lucasfilms did back in the day, is they basically released a movie without releasing the movie. They released the book, they released the soundtrack, which is probably one of the better soundtracks in the Star Wars series, and they released toys. I think they released plushies. Everything that you could release in conjunction with a motion picture, they released. The only thing they didn't do was the movie.
I had no idea. That's actually really cool.
It's a really good book. They give you the character of Vader. You get into Vader's head a little bit more, like what he's thinking, which is very strange when you read Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back and Jedi. You don't really get that. But when Steve Perry writes this, you get a little bit of what's going on inside of Vader's head and what he thinks of the Emperor and good ideas, bad ideas, what he's trying to happen with Luke, what he's trying to bring about with Luke. And you have to remember he doesn't know about Leia yet, so things happen in the book where you're like, oh, dude, that's Leia, and he doesn't know. So
Right.
It's very interesting. But what I was thinking about this book, Shadows of the Empire, is I would like to see them do on Disney Plus this. They got the technology.
Of course.
You got Mark Hamill's son. You got Carrie Fisher's daughter. You got the guy who looks like Chewbacca. And you got the guy who played Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
There's your cast right there. Because you don't have to worry about casting Han Solo's character because he's frozen in carbonite. You're done. You're there. That guy who's played the Emperor is still alive.
Yeah.
Anybody can dress up like Darth Vader, and as long as you get a good guy who can mime things, like a good mimic, you can have James Earl Jones do the voice still.
Well, I mean, just like because David Prowse
Yes.
had put the suit on for all that
And I'm
time.
just sitting there thinking, why? Why on God's green earth? Or maybe it has been getting kicked around. I don't know. But I would like to see it. I would go back into Disney Plus, buy a month's worth, and watch that series if they did it. If they decided to do like a 4 or 5 part series of this, because it's that good. It's that good. For me, it's that good of a book. I'm almost done with it.
Very
My second
cool.
reading. There's so much stuff that I forgot about. But yeah, that's what I've been reading lately. I've started some other books on writing and drawing and computer stuff, but that's all techno babble stuff. How about you? What have you been doing? What have you been reading, watching?
Last night I watched the third Conjuring movie.
Oh, really?
Subtitled "The Devil Made Me Do It." It's an interesting take. Are you familiar with the Conjuring movies at all?
I've heard of them. I'm not really familiar. It's funny because Kat was talking about them today. I don't know if she's seen any of them or she knows anything about them, but I know she was watching them going, wow, they got that many already? I'm like,
yeah, well, they have quite a universe, but the 3 main movies, Conjuring 1, 2, and 3, they all are from case files from the 2 demonologists that were husband and wife, Ed and Lorraine Warren. They have both now since passed recently. And I used to watch so many paranormal shows on cable and with psychics and ghosts and stuff like that. And Lorraine who's a demonologist, would often be a guest sometimes for possession cases and stuff. So
these are real people.
These are real people.
Okay.
So the Conjuring movies are based on true accounts from actual demonologists.
Oh, no
So
shit.
they were involved in, they investigated after the fact the Amityville house,
Mhm.
but they, all these movies are based on their cases
Right.
with all the documentation. And what's cool, after every movie, they start showing you pictures of the cast as the actual people, the things
Oh,
that were
no
going
kidding.
on, newspaper clippings and stuff like that. And this latest Conjuring doesn't really follow the haunted house motif as the first two, but
Uh,
more as follows a guy named Arnie Johnson, who was the first person to,
he was really good in laughing.
yeah, he was put on trial for murder, and his defense was not guilty by reason of demonic possession.
Uh-huh.
That was the first time demonic possession had ever been used. I did some reading, it got thrown out, but they never touched that in the movie.
Right.
But the movie basically focused on Ed and Lorraine trying
Uh-huh.
to prove that this guy was possessed, and he ended up getting off with manslaughter. Um, it's interesting. So it's a good movie. It's creepy as fuck because it starts off with the exorcism of an 8-year-old boy, and it's wicked.
Wow.
It's wicked. I love them. I am a firm believer in the afterlife and all
Right.
of that. So I dig this kind of thing. So it's a good watch, and I like HBO for kicking this stuff out, and I didn't have to go to the theater.
Right. Right. You know what? I went back and I was going to rewatch Godzilla versus King Kong, but they got it
Right.
off. It's already, I guess they have it in the theater now.
Yeah.
So I don't know when they're going to bring it back on, but I was like, I was
Soon.
just in the mood not to think and watch something. And I was like,
It's already gone.
I started watching an old Godzilla movie. We got to watch some Godzilla movies.
We do. We
HBO
absolutely
Max
do.
has got a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And
We can do that.
Okay, now say what you were saying right before we went on about Zack Snyder's verse,
Um,
about AT&T.
yeah, I was reading, and I don't know if this is all hearsay or just rumors have it that, well, I mean, it's true that AT&T is selling off HBO to Discovery. So, the people that bring us my 600-pound life is now going to be in charge of DC. So,
My 600-pound Superman.
yeah. So anyway,
Oh, Wonder Woman's gained weight,
but
but she's on a diet.
look, I love trash TV. So Discovery Plus is one of my favorite channels because I get all the reality competitions that I love to watch, like Forged in Fire. I love watching the blacksmith
I
competition,
love Forged in Fire,
which is
but,
really cool.
but that's not trash TV. Trash
No,
TV is Kardashian.
yeah, I don't
Trash
watch that.
TV is
I
my
don't watch that.
600-pound life.
No,
Uh,
although that is interesting.
teenage mom or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck that one thing is. That's trash TV.
you don't
That's
want some Honey Boo Boo?
can't watch it. I can't. The only reason I even know that kid exists is because she was splattered all over everything for a while,
Yeah,
and I'm like, that poor kid
yeah.
is. She's never, no matter how old she gets, everybody's gonna. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Just
Anyway,
bad parenting all the way around.
back to with the whole thing with that
Yeah.
deal is it looks like they the rumor has it that the execs at Discovery are very happy with Zack Snyder and how well his movie is done, and they're going to be pursuing the Snyderverse.
Oh, that would be great. I
And
hope that rumor's true because I want
I
to see. I want to see more Dark Side. I really do.
absolutely, I think we all do, and I want more Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yes. Yeah.
I had also seen, and I wish I should have written down where I saw this because take it with a grain of salt, folks. I'm just reading stuff off the internet. It could be completely fake, but they were not happy with the direction of the new Batman movie.
I've heard that from 4 different things. I watch a lot of YouTube stuff about
Yeah.
comics and comic book movies and stuff like that, and how people are reacting, the general public. And most of these guys are just comic book geeks. They look at the roots of stuff. And there's been 3 different guys that I watched, and 2 girls that I watch. I say girls, but they're women. They're young ladies that have reported the exact same thing, all in slightly different ways, but it all boils down to they do not like sparkly Batman.
Shocking.
Shocking. And they're going back for a lot of reshoots, and I'm just like, oh Lord, like when you hired this guy, nobody thought this is the worst choice for Batman.
Yeah.
Unless you were going to go 1966 Batman with him, that's the only way I could see him being played. Is the old series television,
Yeah.
no, that kind of stuff.
Oh God.
And no, hold on. I would have been okay with that, knowing now that they've kept their universe separate. Like every television series is in its own Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3,
Right.
Earth 35. They're doing old school stuff. My problem is they never came out and said that. They never came out and went, "Hey, look, we're doing a universe, but every movie is going to be separate. Every series is going to be separate. It's just easier to write good stories. Don't look for coherence between any of the shows. Just look for good stories." They never said that. They just kept throwing stuff out there, and everybody's trying to figure out how does it all work together.
Right.
They need to just come out with a news snippet and say, "Look, this is what we're doing." Zack Snyder's verse is an Elseworld story. It's happening somewhere else. It's happening in a completely different universe. That's why Superman killed that guy.
Yeah.
The good Michael Keaton Batman is in a different universe. The good Ben Affleck Batman happens to be in the same universe as the bad Superman.
And see, that's where it gets so damn confusing, because if you watched any of the TV series, Arrow, Flash, Batwoman, Supergirl, they all had the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline and smashed everything into one, destroyed all the universes. And now it's like, oh, now I'm so confused. Where are we going with this? DC has had a problem with this for a while.
DC had a problem with that when they did the comic book like that. They did the comic book series Crisis on Infinite Earth, which what they were trying to do was fix all their continuity problems.
Right.
Instead of just coming out and going, okay, we're going to do this one story, and this story is separate from everything else, and blah blah blah, like I just said.
Right.
They tried to fix their universe, tried to make everything one universe, so all their stories were coherent. And then within 5 years, they started splintering their universe again. And it's like, why did you guys even bother doing this other thing? If you knew you weren't going to keep it. But that's me. I'm not the guy running it. I think I would have, I don't know, I'd probably sit down with guys like Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon. I'd get these guys in and go, okay, how can we, even Chris Claremont, as much as he like drags out a storyline so much, at least he's a good writer. He can tell a good story.
Yeah.
Drag these guys back in and go, okay, I'm getting rid of all these people who don't know how to write a comic book and are doing everything for political reasons or whatever weird reason they have. I just want good stories. Go. Pitch me your 4 best stories that you have right now. I'm going to pick one from every one of you. And start there.
Yeah.
So you got to start somewhere, right? I would just stop everything that's being produced right now and say, look, I'm never finishing this story. You guys are horrible story writers.
Yeah.
We're just not finishing your stories. We're ending your contracts. You're gone. You're never going to come back. Yeah. But that's me. That's just go get some good story writers. Get the guys who know what they're doing. And they don't.
No. So it could be some good shakeup at HBO with DC.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
It needs it. It needs it. They were starting to feel like Disney and Kathleen Kennedy, and I was like, what in the hell are you all doing?
I'm hoping they shake up DC, because DC has gone so far woke. And you know what? I don't mind being a little politically correct. I get it.
Well, your politics are always in there. I mean, hell, we've talked about this, but I mean, even if you just look at, holy crap, I'm going to try and keep this on the rails here, but we go to the X-Men. They always represented racism and civil rights.
Right. But they did it in a very entertaining way.
They did not do it swinging a hammer.
Right.
They did it in a creative way. All of these heroes all represented something, and you never had to be hit over the head. One of my favorite X-Men stories is God Loves, Man Kills, and it's very obvious about racism and civil rights in the U.S., but it's still, the Sentinels represent whatever they did and stuff like that. So it's creative writing that when you read it or you watch it, you're left like, you know what, I can be a better person, or that's really fucked up how we treat people, instead of talking to me like I'm 2 years old. And that's I find I get insulted when I see something that has to be delivered with a hammer.
Once, like, I think I've said this before, once somebody tells me I have to think a certain way, I'm not thinking that way. I'm just.
Oh, no.
I will deliberately go out of my way to offend you at that point. If you tell me I have to accept you for whatever stupid reason, and if not, you're this or that or the other, guess what? I'm gonna go out of my way to make you cry, make your life miserable. At that point, you've just pushed it too far. Instead of just going, hey, I'm a nice guy, you know, I'm going to do nice things, or I'm a nice woman, I'm going to do nice things, and I'm going to try to be a decent person, you know, then I'll treat you decently. Don't come at me and say, because I'm this or because I'm that, you have to treat me away. Whatever.
And but further proof to our audience that us Gen Xers don't give a fuck.
I'm over 40, I don't care.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice to hear. And I don't know if you're going to edit any of this out or not, but it's nice to hear that somebody might go into one of these major corporations and say, hey, enough is enough. Let's get back on track with telling good stories.
Yes, I gotta hope so.
Snyder was telling a good story. I want to see the end of that story.
Yes.
I want to see Darkseid. I want to see bad Superman fighting good Batman, fighting you know, the crazy Joker who's
oh my god,
up with Batman. What is that about? But
I want to see it. I want to see it.
Right. I want to see that. I want to see that.
Because I have to give Jared Leto props in that. It's like, you know, there is the Joker, and that tells me that it was all the director, not him.
Yep. That a lot of that was probably, this is what I want you to do. So what does he do as an actor? He tries to stay in the bounds of what the director wants.
Yeah,
if not,
that's his job.
You know, it just gets aggravating for everybody. But yeah, like when he did that Joker, I was just like, holy, that is a creepy Joker. That is a creepy.
He made it his
Joker
own
that I wanted to see.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Crazy. Just totally insane.
So, with that being said, let's get to our movie.
Yes.
One of the things that happened today at work is like I was approached by a coworker. Hey, I listened to your podcast that you just released.
You guys swear a lot.
No, we, just so everybody knows, we run about 6 weeks behind on everything we record. Anyhow, a coworker approached me and said, hey, I just listened to your podcast on House of a Thousand Cats. And she said, I'm listening, and then bam, we talk about wrestling. And I said, well, there just really wasn't much to talk about on that horrible ass movie. So we filled it in a little bit.
we filmed a lot of, it's funny because the wife was watching it with me and she just looked over at one point. She goes, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was something to the effect of, what do you, weren't you guys just talking about a movie? What happened? What you wrestling? And like that was a horrible movie. I don't know what to tell you. It was just a horrible.
Yeah. There was nothing left to talk about. So, on to something that was obviously much better. We wrap up H.P. Lovecraft's series of movies that we've been watching with Bride of the Reanimator, and I'm curious to see what you thought of this one.
We are finally now with our chit chat and chatter, which we love to do. We you know what? We could probably do an entire podcast without a freaking movie review and just BS and then go, see you later, folks.
We could, and if you'd like to hear that, drop us a line.
So we'll
stop doing movies. We'll just talk.
We don't have to waste time watching a movie. It's not as good. I think you texted me and said it wasn't quite as good as the first one, and I would have to say I agree with that. It was funnier in some parts. The guy's got the bat wings on
Oh
him.
my God, Dr. Hill. I couldn't wait to hear what you had to say about now the head is back and this
I
time he's got
almost
bat wings.
texted you. I almost texted you when I saw that head hit the table and the bat, and I was just like, "Oh my God, they're gonna graft the bat wings to this guy's head."
Oh.
Oh, the mortician's name was Graves, Dr. Graves.
I cannot believe I missed that.
Oh God, that was so funny. What else? Oh, here's my biggest problem of all the things that I have a problem with in this movie. My biggest problem is when they're building the Bride of Frankenstein.
Pretty much.
She played that part really good. Whoever that actress was that was playing that part, she
did it great.
She did a good job. I'll have to admit that's probably the best acting in the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there thinking, you have these two geniuses that have figured out how to reanimate life, and really that lady, other than being kind of needy as far as like clingy to the one doctor, but she had her shit. She basically had her head and shit wired together, right? These guys are super geniuses. I thought when they were putting that cloth across her neck, I thought that was going to be like a skin graft, and it was going to be.
I did too.
We're just going to see and I thought they were going to lay skin all over her, and
we'd see it grafting in.
Yeah, graft on, and then all of a sudden she'd be like up and be like perfect, like because that's what you're supposed to be trying to create is not just life, but the perfect life. And this poor woman has got like metal shards sticking out of her.
Oh hell, they had built a metal skeleton.
Yes, and I'm like, you guys are super geniuses? Did you help a sister out, man? Give her some skin.
Yeah, that was strange.
Skin on her, and would have been. And then I would have went, oh, okay. Not only did they figure out how to bring somebody back to life, but they know how to heal all the wounds and everything now too. So the next movie would be like something even more phenomenal. How great would that be? Which they do have a third movie.
Yes, yes, they do.
We're gonna have to watch that
because I have to see how Dr. West gets out of the collapsed mausoleum.
I know. I want to see if the head's still around.
You know it is. That is great. When that came flying out of the box, I about fell onto the floor.
I like how whenever the door gets knocked on, he just throws on his military belt and he's got a 45.
What the hell?
The first time the guy's had a gun through the entire series. Yeah. But Jeffrey Combs, man, he plays a maniacal guy. Really good. And I like
He's crazy.
He's just putting stuff together and animating it to see what it'll do.
And that brings to a very funny early scene where he takes some fingers and an eyeball and puts it all together, and it starts running around the house when the police show up. Now, that cop.
Oh, that was hysterical.
For his dead wife to be reanimated. And obviously he had cheated on her, and that's the one thing she remembered.
Not just cheated on her, but he killed her. He's the one who beat her.
That was it. Killed her. That was it. Thank you. Yeah, he beat her or whatever. So
I like how Jeffrey Combs is like, oh, really? That was your wife? Well, your wife had multiple contusions around her head.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Killed, and Jeffrey Combs.
She remembered that.
Yeah, she remembered who that guy was. But she didn't like him.
Yeah.
That was, what else happened? I want to know, in both of these movies, the good-looking young doctor guy just keeps getting suckered.
Dan, yeah.
Both women, well, all three women, because it was the original woman in the first movie, then the Italian or Hispanic girl that was in the second movie, plus the big Bride of Frankenstein woman. All these women they hang around. Like, all hell's breaking loose. The one girl in this movie sees, like, the weird shit, like, crawling around and flopping in the dead bodies and the zombies. And she knows the guy that she's interested in has got something to do with it and is probably to blame for it as much as crazy Jeffrey Combs' character is. I'd be gone. I'd be like, I don't give a damn how good looking you are. I'm out of here. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, and and the my God, again, Coombs kills somebody, reanimates them. They go fucking crazy. They kill her dog, so he's like he's got this dead dog, and he's like, let me put a hand on it. So the dog's walking around.
Look on Jeffrey Combs' face is perfect when he's looking at the dog. He looks over at the arm. He's just like,
you know where it's going. He was building all kinds of things, and that brings me to probably my favorite scene in the movie is when they look inside the mausoleum. Okay, so Dr. West and Kane have a house now at a cemetery. They bought an old mortuary because it was convenient. There's body parts. Can we get any more Dr. Frankenstein than this?
right. I know.
Their basement is shares a wall with a mausoleum. So when that finally opens up and you see inside and you see his menagerie of creatures, I died laughing because there's the cutest little white kitten up there just smiling along, and then there's all these weird fantastical beasts, but there's that white kitten. It's like, what?
I missed the white kitten. Where was the
Yes,
white kitten?
it's almost like the kitten smiling because they're all animatronics there.
I missed it. Oh my God, that's funny. I think the best one was the two-faced girl.
Oh, that was freaky.
That was really creepy, but it was a really good effect because the lady's looking and she turns around and she's got another head on the back of her and an entire body, like he's grafted two bodies somehow.
Yes.
That was a good special effect. That was a good in-camera special effect.
They did a lot of great practical effects in this. It is over the top. It is. I mean, it's one of those that is so silly. It's not the effects are not disturbing. I did have to laugh at when they realized they were witnessing tissue
degeneration
rejection. Yeah. Donor rejection or whatever. The parts were rejecting. And so literally the bride falls apart. Just yeah.
There was a plot to this movie. I missed it, quite honestly. It was basically just these two guys trying to reanimate people. They found the heart of his old dead girlfriend.
Yeah, how that was even still in one piece.
Well, they said that all the stuff that was in that.
That's right, didn't deteriorate.
It was deteriorating. Like you didn't have to freeze it or anything. It just wasn't dying.
Yeah.
It wasn't alive either, but it wasn't going anywhere. The one mortuary guy, the Graves guy, I've seen him in so much stuff.
Yes.
And the minute I saw him come out of the freezer or the cooler, I was like, I know this guy. This is going to be good. Whatever this guy's doing is going to be funny and just so stupid. And of course, it was.
It was.
Sitting there having a conversation with the one guy, the head.
Yeah, Dr. Hill. Yeah.
He calls the young guy in. Talk to him. And the guy, the head just keeps its eyes closed and mouth shut. He leaves, and then the eye opens up and he starts yelling at him. I almost texted you like, what is with people taking orders from heads?
Well, here's the thing. In this one again, Dr. Hill is using telepathy to control the minions of the dead that he's never seen. Pretty wild.
Head down to the basement and throwing it in the fire.
you talk about the orderly that came in, and I had to do a double take. I couldn't find his name, but I thought, my God, that looked like Jeff Conway. I thought Kanicki was in this movie.
It did look like Kanicki, didn't it? But it wasn't him. That guy's a character actor, and I have no idea who he is. I've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't find him in the credits, but I was like, wait a minute, that looks like Kanicki.
You get a hickey from Kanicki. It's like a Hallmark card.
Yeah. Lord. This is not a bad movie. It's a fun movie. It was made to just no, it was just made to show off some special effects, continue the story, and have fun. It was mindless and it was enjoyable. But it was not at the level of the first one. So, but it was neat to see it continue. I want to know how they were allowed back on Miskatonic's University into the hospital.
It's like, who the hell who is making those decisions? Who is making those HR decisions at Miskatonic Hospital and College University?
That college is fucked up.
Why would No
Yeah.
son, no daughter. You're not going to Miskatonic. It's just not going to happen. I don't care that they give you a full scholarship. You are just
Yeah.
simply
Yeah.
not going.
It will change you forever.
Yeah, exactly. You may have to sell your soul to Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
H.P. Lovecraft was insane. I don't care. I've said it every
well,
episode.
he was, and it's
He was totally insane. What's funny is if you met the guy and you found out he was like a gardener and really sweet and nice and kind of
yeah. From what I understand, he was a nutcase and an asshole.
oh, I'm
But
sure he was. I'm just by the stuff that we've seen. Yeah, he had to be crazy. He had to
yeah,
be completely batshit crazy.
yeah. And I like the idea of this whole reanimator thing, but it was honestly just let's do it again. Let's do
Yeah,
what we just did, and let's do it again. And we got a little bit bigger budget. It'll sell, and that was it. I
it's over
mean,
the top.
yeah, it's over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was.
drive-in stuff.
Yes,
You
yeah,
know?
absolutely. And I don't think it holds up as well as the first one.
No.
It has a place. I'm not sure where that is, but I do recommend if you enjoyed the first one, this is definitely worth a watch. If you liked the humor in the first one and you just want to see some pretty decent practical effects for the time. I mean, they were great for the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's very well done, well shot. It's not the best acted movie.
No, like I said, I think the Frankenstein's monster's wife chick was probably the best actress in
I think you're probably
the
right.
whole thing. Everybody else just kind of walked on and was like, "Wait, I have lines?"
Yeah, it was. And Coombs doing his best Herbert West again,
Oh my God,
which is it's a neat character.
Coombs playing a crazy guy. He's just a great crazy guy.
Yeah,
He
you
just
see it,
plays
you
a
feel
great
it, he sells
guy.
it.
Yeah, he
It's
very well.
completely believable.
I would actually like to see him play a detective, like a regular street level detective,
Hmm.
and just show him like not taking any guff from anybody.
Yeah.
Like one of those cops that were back in the old 70s where some gangster hood would say something to him and the cop would just rough him up. I'd like to see Coombs do something like that. Just street level ass kicking stuff.
Yeah.
Even though you know he probably couldn't do it in real life, it would be fun to see him just go
It
crazy.
would. It would. It's nice to see somebody jump out of their type, but he knows his type and he plays it well.
He does. He does a really good job.
He does. So what's your
I've seen him in.
Yeah. So what's your final thoughts on?
I liked it. It's not a great movie like we were saying.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch. If you like the first one, it's definitely worth a watch to see this one. I don't know that I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah.
I do want to go see. I want us to eventually see the third one. It's I forgot the name of it. Beyond Reanimator, and
Yeah.
he's in prison doing tests on rats and stuff or whatever.
It's
But,
on Tubi.
Yeah, it is on Tubi. Tubi's a great channel.
Yeah. It is.
Can't even get enough of this channel. Like big time wrestling and Reanimator. What
You hear that, Tubi? Pay us. We'll sing your praise.
We're doing it for free now. Damn.
Yeah.
We should learn.
Right.
But yeah, if you like Jeffrey Combs, if you're a Jeffrey Combs fan, definitely watch it. It's fun. He's fun in this.
That brings me to we've talked about it, and I would like to continue Jeffrey Combs, and maybe we could roll right into the Frighteners.
Ooh, Frighteners. Before we do Frighteners, though, I would like to see what the hell was that? Not Bride of the Monster. Is it Bride of the Monster?
Oh, the one. Yes. So yes, we will definitely jump back into some 50s sci-fi.
I just want to do that one before I forget.
We absolutely have to do it. I know which one. We will look that up. Something with the gorilla in space.
It is. It's Robot Monster.
Robot Monster. Yes, we will definitely be doing that next week. And then we'll jump into some Peter Jackson films with starting with the Frighteners.
The Frighteners.
And
I love the Frighteners.
no puppets. I promise you.
No
Meet the
porno
Feebles.
puppets, please. The warbles, the wibbles,
the
fribbles,
the Feebles or something like
feebles. Oh God, folks, just don't. Just don't. I felt dirty for 3 days. That's all I'm gonna say.
that. Before we go, you had mentioned somebody you work with that runs a podcast.
Yeah, a fellow that I work with runs a podcast with his friend. It's called Brews and Biceps. We'll try to remember to put the link down below. Speaking of the link down below, hit like, hit save, hit join, hit something else good. Write us a review. Just join us. We're fun. We're easy to get along with. A guy that I work with does a podcast and a show here on YouTube called Brews and Biceps. He does a lot of independent breweries and stuff like that. He started it, I think, in Indiana. He's come up to or down to Pensacola. He's done a couple, I think, in Milton. I want to say there's at least one he's done in Milton. And he just talks about like beers and hops and different aspects of independent brewery. And it was very interesting. I watched a few of his episodes so far. I want to watch the rest of them. And it's interesting. I actually learned what IPA stands for. I didn't know. It's Indian Pale Ale. I had no idea. I thought IPA stood for Independent Pub
Something.
Association or something.
So what's the biceps part of the podcast?
I don't know.
Okay. I thought we were going to get Brews and...
I think he does that every once in a while. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do that again because that was quite embarrassing with my little noodle.
Yeah, it's like, ow, I hurt my arm.
We're getting old. Get off my lawn.
but it's pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so
cool.
I pass this on to anyone else. And if anyone's listening, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the join button for us, follow. And if you can share us, go ahead and share us about with all of your friends.
Yeah, please do.
But if you're enjoying what you're seeing, we enjoy doing it. I hope it shows. I think it does. Even when I'm not swearing like a sailor on leave, I hope you're enjoying the show. Scott, what do you got? Anything?
I got nothing. Just thanks for being there. You can catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, any of your podcast. Well, I won't say any, but at least 99% of the podcast platforms we are available to listen and stream. So share it, put it out there. We've seen an upsurge of podcast listeners and viewers are starting to move up a little bit. So thank you to those who are sharing and listening, and drop us a line if you want to hear something not movie related. You want to hear Scott and Dave talk about the finer points of celery gardening. I don't know, anything. We will, yeah.
I don't know anything about celery gardening.
I don't either, but we will learn just to talk about it.
I will read a book. I will figure it out. I will read something about celery gardening. Yes.
Yeah. So whatever, if you just got a movie to suggest, please do. We had a great response from, we've had one movie suggested, great movie. So please send your ideas to us if you want to hear our take on it. So
we enjoy watching movies in general. We're trying to stick with a certain range of movie from the time movies were first invented back in the silent era all the way up into the late 80s, early 90s. We've had a couple of early 90s.
And we've occasionally jumped into the 2010s.
But for the most part, we like to keep it in the 80s. So if you see something or know of something that was done in the 80s that's like one of your favorite movies, but maybe not really popular, let us know. I'd like to watch it.
Absolutely.
I'll watch anything.
Because we pretty much just throw a dart at the Tubi and find out what the hell we're going to watch.
Dart at the Tubi. Tubi has become our favorite spot to go for movies.
I will agree.
There's so much different stuff on there. Like if you go to HBO Max, you're going to get Warner Brothers movies.
Yeah.
If you go to Disney Plus, you're getting Disney movies. If you go to Tubi and you just type in
you're getting everything.
Something random, you're getting a ton of different movies. I mean, they have commercials, but they're actually pretty good. They do a really good job on editing everything. the commercials aren't all that bad. The commercial breaks aren't horrible. So it's pretty good.
So until next week, when we return with some crazy sci-fi. Catch you later.
Cheers.